The thoughts, views, and opinions are that of my own. I'm not a salesman. I cannot be bought. This is all entertainment. Let's go.
The cipher. It's the new cipher.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Peace, 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 and more peace. It is a vibe. What up? What you doing? How you feeling?
The cipher. It's the new cipher.
See, we got a couple people in here. Some of y'all, let's send us floor. What's up? What it do?
It's the new cipher.
Y'all know how we do. I already told y'all my favorite lotion. Keep your skin hydrated. Keep your skin hydrated. Gotta have good skin care on your face, on your hands, on your body. You want stuff to work. You gotta make it work. Feel me? Let's go.
The cipher.
Drink of choice of the day. It's going to be Joseph Magnus Cigar Blend. Joseph Magnus Cigar Blend. Let me pour this up and then we're going to get straight to it. Let's go. All right. Got my fragrances set up.
The cipher.
Peace, 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 and more peace. It is a vibe. It is a vibe. Welcome. How y'all feeling today? How y'all feeling tonight? Y'all feeling good? All right, we got fire in the chat. Let me see what we got in here. We got 42 people in here. This is light, but understand people at Sin Explorer in footballs on Thursday night. Listen, I'm competing, but, you know, one thing I can say is the replay gang is always strong, regardless. Even people who don't catch the first thing pretty much catch the replay. And for those of you who are new to my content, I will also be taking this live, which will be anywhere from an hour to sometimes 2 hours to an hour and 40 minutes. I'll be chopping this down and getting rid of all the extra fluff that we talk about in here and get straight down to the top 10, which most of y'all really came here for. So also be on the lookout on that on the regular video channel upload, edit that and get that uploaded. So it's like a more condensed version for people who want to go back and watch. They might not want to see the whole conversation, but they want to get a gist. Now, when I edit, it's a lot of things that are taken out because I'm trying to condense the time, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Why are we here today? Why are we here today? Well, today we will be talking about the top 10 instant sex appeal fragrances. This is my Art of Seduction series. I came up with the Art of Seduction series because I'm real big about reading books. And one of my favorite books, because a lot of y'all watch things that comes down to compliments, how to seek compliments, things of that nature. Y'all into that. That's kind of y'all thing. So I say, well, why not just give it to you in a more educational but stylistic kind of way that nobody else is doing. But one of my favorite books is The Art of Seduction by Robert Greene. The Art of Seduction by Robert Greene. In this book, there are several different archetypes. This is part 2. Part 1, we did the dandy. Today, we will be discussing the rake, and I will be discussing what the rake is. I will read a couple of excerpts in the book that I think are highly important when it comes to talking about that archetype. And then I will discuss the fragrances at hand. After that, we'll converse and, you know, I might ask a few questions, things of that nature. And then we're going to go and get up out of here because it's kind of late and I know people watching football. So for those of you watching football on one channel and on the TV and watching me on YouTube, maybe with some earphones, listen, man, I appreciate the dedication. But before we get into that, let's talk about the scent of the day. I said I was going to be wearing this for the next couple of days, and I've been wearing it, which is Third Eye Fragrance Company, their first fragrance in the line. It was sent to me last live that I talked about, and that's Red Rum. Now, for those of you who might just be coming across my video, and this is your first time you hearing me talk about this, the company sent this to me. I talked about the presentation being subpar, but I was also told that this is the 20 ml, that the 50 mls come in better presentation. So if this is your first time watching and you like, oh, look at the presentation, listen, I already watched my last video on my first impressions. I already discussed that. There's no need to discuss it. But when I did my first impression, I did like the scent of it. So I wore it for the last 2 days, and I'm just going to tell you kind of how I've been wearing on that. For the most part, it started off with that fruity, boozy, cinnamon, warm, tobacco essence, sweet, but not like overly childish or bubblegum sweet, but just sweet enough to tickle the noses, to draw people in, to make people want to smell you. So very inoffensive, very highly compliment getting. It almost, the more I smelt this, it almost reminded me, when I kept smelling it, a little bit of Angel Share Paradise. Now, Angel Share Paradise has that raspberry. Now, what I should have did was put them side by side to see if I see similarities, but it kind of reminded me of Paradise a little bit. But it has that dark plum with that cherry instead of that raspberry nuance in Paradise. But it kind of goes into an Angel Share kind of wearing experience because I got an opportunity to put it on skin, not on paper. As we started getting into the later dry down, like the 2 hour mark, 2.5 hour mark, the base really started taking over within this fragrance. It started becoming more tobacco, vanilla, woody. The fruity nuances really started to die down, and it became more of a like spice, tobacco, vanilla fragrance, woody, vanilla, ambery, tobacco fragrance with just the fruity nuances just lingering in the background, but not noticeable enough where it mattered. Now, what this also started doing, now I'm not much of an oversprayer, but I did spray it enough. Well, I wore 10 sprays one day and 8 sprays. 8 sprays the first day, 10 sprays the second day. Tomorrow, if I decide to wear this, because I kind of want to wear something else, I might do 12 or 15, just see if it matters, to see if that matters. But for the most part, after about 2 hours, hour and a half, I had to go search for it. Now, whenever I put it on my wrist, because of course I wash my hands, so I really don't put things on the back of my hands because I wash my hands. I put it more on my wrist, and I would have to go in and smell it. But when I did this, it was very noticeable, but it wasn't like screaming off of skin. So that tells me a few things. It told me that this is more of a date night scent, more of an intimate scent. This isn't one that you want to be a room filler. Sillage, I didn't get any compliments on it, but I also haven't worn this in a situation where I would be around people that would garner compliments. I was just kind of just wearing it about, but I haven't received the compliment on this yet. But I can also see why I wouldn't, because it just wasn't pushing out or performing or really giving what I would say a really good scent trail overall of it. Or if people smelled me, it was just kind of not enough for them to feel like they needed to tell me I smell good. And you know, it happens. Some things you can compliment on, that's not a reflection of the fragrance. It's just, again, I wasn't in an environment that would have dictated that. But as close as it started setting on skin, it made me think that this is more of a date night scent. What do I mean by that? With a date night scent, you don't need anything that's going to be performing and pushing out all day. You want something that when you give somebody a hug, you know, you first meet them, you first see them at the spot, wherever you're going, you give them a hug. When you give them a hug, they're going to smell you. Once they smell you once, it really kind of doesn't matter anymore. Even if it kind of fades a little bit, it's almost to a certain degree a good thing, because if they really liked it, that means they're going to have to come in closer to you to smell it again if they like it enough that they want to smell it again. So that works on a really good, like, kind of intimate situation. So that's what I thought of. As far as longevity, so far, only been getting about 6.5 hours on this. about 6.5 hours. After that, it was kind of there, but it was like really like I had to press myself to smell it. It wasn't really coming to me. So take that for what it is. I've only had 2 wearings. I at least try to wear something at least about 4 or 5 times before I really give my full thoughts or consider it a full review. But I did say I was going to do an update for you all. So that's kind of my update on this. Overall, about 6.5 hours. I give it an 8 out of 10, 7.5, 8 out of 10 right now. The presentation, because that's what I have. I had to knock it for that. It's not an overly beast fragrance. It's not something that really like blew me away, but it's a really good fragrance. It's just like a really, really good fragrance. Not a great fragrance, but just a really good, solid compliment getting fragrance. Again, if I put this on in a situation where the compliments would be more garnered, so it's all about time and place, where you are, who you're around, we'll see what it does. But again, a sweet, boozy fragrance reminded me a little bit of this Jamaican kind of rum, sweet tobacco thing. But as I started wearing it more, I was almost reminded of fragrances like Angel Share when I started wearing it. It kind of was reminding me of that, but it didn't have the density and the oomph of Angel Share. So kind of take that with a grain of salt if you decide you want to give this house a try. I know they're sold out, but whenever they get back in stock, if you want to get a sample and see if it works for you. I'm not saying it's going to work for you. I'm not saying you need to rush out and go get it. These are just my feelings, my thoughts, and my wearing experience. Take it with a grain of salt and do with that information how you see fit. Let me see if I can let me do this to chat on my phone. So let me just see before we get into the video and before we break it down, let me just see what people are saying. I'm gonna try to get better at that. People been wearing Day 3 Philosophia, Lucius, Uncle Near, somebody been drinking. Where's everybody from? So somebody put it, talking to the people. Sully up in here. Shout out to everybody up in here. What up, my guy? Appreciate allowing us in the cipher tonight. I appreciate you joining me. And please, y'all, hit the like button. We have 89 people in the chat. I want to see like buttons so we can get into the video. As y'all know, I'll start doing like my first 4 videos. My first 4 that I'll speak on. And if the likes aren't matching the views, then I'm just going to take an intermission pause and I won't speak again until the likes match up. And if over a period of time, I'm only going to give it like 5 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, answer some questions. If it don't happen by then, I will end the live. I don't care enough, but I don't ask for much. It's free to hit the like button. And I don't like wasting my own time. I can be watching the game or doing something else. So the internet really isn't my form of compensation. It isn't my form of paying my bills. I can walk away from this tomorrow and I will be fine. I don't need YouTube. It's nice to have, and I enjoy the hobby. I enjoy coming and talking to you all. I enjoy spreading game, but don't take it that I need this, because I don't. So with that being said, let's start the intro so I can, I got everything set up so I can have a clean, quick edit. So on today's video, we're going to be discussing the top 10 instant sex appeal fragrances from my Art of Seduction series. My Art of Seduction series was inspired by books that I read. More importantly, one of my favorite books, from the house of Robert Greene, which is The Art of Seduction. Now, this is part 2. Part 1, we talked about the dandy. If you haven't seen part 1, go back and look at my other videos. I might actually make a playlist overall so you can just go through it. But part 1, we talked about the dandy. Part 2, we're going to talk about the Rake archetype, the Rake. So I'm going to read a couple of things and then we'll get into the fragrance. The reason I want to do this is, of course, a lot of people talk about sex appeal fragrances, sexy fragrances, this and this and this and that. But nobody really breaks down why or how things like really, really work. They're just saying, hey, wear this, it'll work. That could be true or not, but I wanted to do a little bit of educational piece and tie in the archetypes with the style of fragrances that I deem to fit the archetype. So the Rake, what is the Rake for people who haven't read this book or don't know what the Rake is? A woman never quite feels desired or appreciated enough. She wants attention, but a man too often distracted and unresponsive. The rake is a great female fantasy figure. When he desires a woman, brief though at that moment may be, he will go to the ends of the earth for her. He may be disloyal, dishonest, amoral, but that only adds to his appeal. Unlike normal, cautious males, the rake is delightful, unrestrained, a slave, his love of a woman. There is an added lure of his reputation. So many women have succumbed to him. There has to be a reason. Words are woman's weakness, and the rake is the master of seductive language. Stir woman's repressed longings by adapting the rake mix of danger and pleasure. That's one part. There's a few more excerpts I want to read that I think are important. Related to the rake extremism is the sense of danger, taboo, perhaps even the hint of cruelty about him. Just as a man may fall victim to the siren through his desires to be free of his sense of masculinity responsibility, a woman may succumb to the rake through her yearning to be free of the constraints of virtue and decency. She want to be a freak. Indeed, it is often the most virtuous women who falls most deeply in love with the rake. Like men, women are deeply attracted to the forbidden and dangerous, even slightly evil. Always remember, if you are to play the rake, you must convey a sense of risk and darkness, suggesting to your victim that she is participating in something rare, thrilling, a chance to play out our own rakish desires. And I'll just talk about the symbol, and then we're going to get into it. The symbol of the rake. Fire, the rake burns with desire that inflames the woman he is seducing. Again, the symbol is fire. The rake burns with desire that inflames the woman he is seducing. It is extreme, uncontrollable, and dangerous. The rake may end in hell, but the flames surrounding him often make him seem that much more desirable to women. In other words, to sum it up, the rake is a bad boy. A bad boy. Somebody who lives on the edge. I don't want to say a pookie, but this is why when you start looking at red pill content and why do women like him? I'm a good guy, and people say good guys always finish last. Bro, it's because of the rake. He has a sense of mystery. He plays on that juxtaposition of being dangerous, naughty, and it's just that forbidden taboo fruit that people want. So how do I describe these fragrances, and how would these fragrances I'm going to discuss fit that I think the archetype of the rake? That would be fragrances that are dark, but yet seductive. So it might be dark essences, dark notes with a hint of femininity, something dangerous and desirable. So sweetness, but yet this rough appeal, this juxtaposition of smoothing out the rough ends with the beauty of the overall fragrance. That's how I would describe the rake. These are the kind of fragrances I think the rake would wear to seduce a woman. Now, what you would think the rake fragrances would be might not be on this list. If it's not on this list, don't take offense to it. We're having fun. We're talking about different topics and doing different things. So let's go ahead and get into it. So I have like 4 honorable mentions I want to discuss when it comes to the rake, and then we'll get into the top 10. I will rank these. I will rank these for the rake. I will rank these. So I am going to rank these 10 through 1. But let's quickly talk about the honorable mentions. Now, when we want to talk about something that's seductive, dark, intriguing, and mysterious, I want to talk about a fragrance from the house of Fort and Mantle, and this is Amber Absolutely. Amber Absolutely. What you get here is some plum. You get rose. You get some amber, I believe some sandalwood, some wood, some musk. And it's a little, you have this dark plum that's slightly erotic. It's almost juicy. laid upon a bed of roses. Think of rose petals drenched in just this sexual plum. On top of this warm bed of amber and a little bit of musk, adding this fluff, this feel, this warmth. So you have the amber, the musk, some woods on top of this seducing and erotic plum and rose. Overall, great fragrance. This isn't a room filler fragrance. Amber absolutely isn't a room filler. It doesn't need to be. Part of the rake is being mysterious. Part of the rake is inviting people into your space, making people want to come to you. And that isn't being the loudest person in the room. That's to draw somebody into your web of desire. And that's what Amber absolutely does. This is the OG version. Now, I know they have a new bottle. I don't know if it's been reformulated. I can't speak to it. I don't own that fragrance. I'm not going to buy that fragrance. I don't care enough. But look at the notes. Maybe look and see if you see any videos where reviewers talking about both fragrances. But to me, I just love this. A little goes a long way. You don't need to overspray this. If you're going to be indoors, anywhere from 5, 6. Like if you're going on a date with somebody, you're going to be giving out hugs. I would go anywhere from 6, maybe 7 at most. Yeah, that's a little bit odd number, but I would do that. If you want more of a sillage and maybe you want to wear it where it's more intriguing, there's other fragrances on the list I would say wear. But if you decide to do that, you can go anywhere from maybe 8 to 10. It's not the loudest fragrance, but for me, I get great longevity in this. 6 to 7 hours is all I need in this fragrance, and this fragrance actually gives me this. And that's Amber Absolutely from Fort Maine. That's my honorable mention number 1. Honorable mention number 2 is another love for me. Christian Provenzano did this fragrance. This is a rose oud fragrance, but there's a sweetness to it. There's this almost allure that this fragrance gives. I think this it's this allure, this woody allure. This is from the house of Fragrance du Bois, and this is Parisian from Fragrance du Bois. So what you get here is, I believe, some grapefruit, some bright fruits up top. You got rose, but then again, you have a bed of amber. You have oud, I believe some patchoulis in here. So you have this brightness, and I believe some myrrh or something might be in here, some incense, maybe a little bit of skyrax or something. But you have this brightness with this grapefruit, this tart brightness with grapefruit, rose, this almost centric rose, very, very sparkling, but it's laid upon these dark, mysterious notes like oud, amber, resins, woods. And the way it just wears sometimes is just intoxicating. It's one of those fragrances, although a rose oud, you will find yourself coming back for more. Now, with Fragrance du Bois, this isn't a loud fragrance. This is a fragrance more of a scent trail, more seduction. Is this anything special that's never been done before? Not necessarily. I don't think it's that, but it's good nonetheless. It is a beauty of a rose oud. And if you personally ask me, I actually prefer this over Sada. To me, I prefer, when I'm gonna go rose oud, and I think both of them have that grapefruit kind of opening, I'm gonna always go with Parisian over Sada every day of the week and twice on Sundays. That's Parisian from Fragrance du Bois at honorable mention number 2. Honorable mention number 3 is, reason why this isn't on the list, because it would, is because it's discontinued. And it might be hard to find. And even if you find it on a site like eBay, I don't know if you should necessarily trust it unless it's from a certified person who you can authenticate as having authentic bottles, because this particular brand has been counterfeited. So you got to be careful when you're buying a fragrance like this, because it's been discontinued for a long time. This is what you call dark, mysterious, masculine sex appeal. This is Bad Boy in a Bottle, and this is from the house of Tom Ford, and this is Tobacco Oud Intense. Tobacco Oud Intense. So what you get here with Tobacco Oud Intense, of course, you get tobacco and oud, But you have amber, you get leather, and you get that resinous, smoky amber. You get the smoke from the tobacco. You get this resinous amber, the same kind of amber used in Amber Absolute, just resinous, balsamic amber. I believe there's some sandalwood in here. At least that's what I'm picking up on. You get a little bit of ash from the tobacco, adding a bit of smokiness with this like leather accord that's here. It's almost an animalic leather cord. I'm not going to say that the leather is birchy, but there's a hint of smoke and roughness, almost like a lit cigar. There's some fire that you can smell coming off this, a little bit of ash. And I think that makes it very seductive and sexy. Think of wearing all black, leather jacket, bourbon, sunglasses or glasses in a corner, chilling, sipping, observing your surroundings. Every now and then, a couple of guys, because you go to the same spot, they know you, they dap you up, they say what's up with you because y'all come here quite often. But this is a woman's first time. She wants to know why everybody knows you, and she wants to get to know you. You are drawing her in because you are the rake. Tobacco Oud Intense is one of the best Tom Ford fragrances ever created, along with Plum Japonais, along with Rive de Ombre. If you want to ask me my probably top 3 and top 2 that should have never been discontinued is Tobacco Oud Intense and Plum Japonais. But it is what it is. That's Tom Ford. Tobacco Oud Intense is honorable mention number 3. And the last honorable mention is one that this one just gets it just works. It gets a ton of absolute compliments. You get some white florals, some sandalwood, you get a little bit of amber. For me, I don't think it's listed, but I get some saffron in this. Tons of saffron in here, not listed. Yeah, man. I feel like it's a little bit of magnolia, something in here. And this is coming from the house of Initio. Great performance, great longevity. It just gets the compliments. There's a dark feel to it. And this is Bless Baraka. Bless Baraka from the house of Initio. It just laid right outside of my top 10. It just does. But when you wear this and you out, there's this almost like it's a fruit in there, this almost jammy fruit. And I don't know if roses in here. I don't know if it's the saffron adding this almost fruity spice. But there's this almost red berry nuance. I feel like I'm definitely getting some white florals, like maybe a little bit of magnolia on top of some sandalwood, a little hint of musk. And this is just absolutely, it's almost Middle Eastern, but it to me on my skin, when you want to wear something, you want to go out. Now, this performs like a champ. With something like this, I don't do that many sprays. If I'm going to be indoors, 3 to 4. I don't have to go above 3 or 4 for me. I typically don't, because sometimes that heavy spice can be too much for the wearer. I mean, for the person who's smelling you. But if you're going to be, let's say, outside where they have the outside smoking area, or they have the outside patio with the fire pits, maybe y'all having drinks outside, whatever it is, you might be able to go like maybe 6. I would go no more than 7. It's kind of a somewhat loud fragrance. I wouldn't do more than 6 personally for me, but it's a nice sillage. Listen, learn to wear your fragrance. This is jeans. This is, some dress boots. This is Scully. This is scarf, glasses, nice watch, nice smile. And just kind of being pleasant, but not overly pleasant. This kind of like, hey, I'm open for people to get to know me, but I'm not pressed for you to get to know me. It's this play on, what the kids call, your aura farming. That's what this is. I like it. And that's my last honorable mention. Take an intermission break and see what those likes look like. Somebody tell me what those likes look like. How many people we got likes? How many likes we got? How many people we got in here? How many likes? And we're going to get into the top 10. I want to see it match. Let's see where we at. Somebody refresh it. So we got 125 people in here. I want to see at least 100 likes. Until I see 100 likes, I'm not moving on. And there's a time limit that I'm going to set and wait around. We go past 3 minutes, I'm done. Video over. I'll end the live. Peace. If anything, I'll just start, I don't know, putting everything on a Patreon or something. I don't know. But I'm not going to waste my time when a like is free and I'm giving y'all a free game. I think a like is warranted. I'm not asking for much. 93 likes. I need 7 more likes and then we can continue. 7 more likes. I'm going to take a sip. Drink responsibly. Somebody keep track and let me know what's going on. In between that, somebody can ask me questions, but we ain't moving on. We got 133. I should make the number go up, but 103. All right, let's go. 103. I appreciate y'all. I shouldn't have to pull teeth. I'm actually getting annoyed that I got to keep doing this. If you new here, some of y'all ain't new here, it don't take all day. As soon as you come in, just hit the like button so we don't got to do this. I would love to just keep going straight through so we don't have to hold things up. All right, let's get to it. Top 10, I'm ranking them. But keep in mind, this isn't what fragrance I think is better than the other. This is based on the purpose of the video, right? It's the Rake. It's the purpose of the video, the bad boy. That's how I'm ranking them for this video. If it was another kind of video, this order can be switched around. But all of them are good fragrances. Don't take 10. That 10 couldn't be number 1 and 1 couldn't be number 10. Not my number 1. But you'll find out. So let's get to it. We want to talk starting in at number 10. At number 10, this is a fragrance that is warm, inviting, and it has that beautiful, juicy plum. This has saffron. I get suede, almost leather type nuances. I get spice. I get resins. This is coming from the house of BDK, and this is Ombre Safrano. Ombre Safrano. Yeah, man. What I'm getting here is tons of, I feel like I'm getting some saffron, some plum, some fruits, tons of like ambery nuances with some woods. But that plum is what makes the show. The plum with the amber adds this dark and mysterious. Oh, and the leather, this leather accord that's in here adds this almost dark and mysterious kind of thing. This is nighttime. This is allure. This is eroticism. And it just works. Now, how many sprays I normally put on this? With something like this, I normally go about 7, anywhere from 4 to 7. What do I mean by that? So let's just say you going on a first date, or you're going to be, let's say, at a bar, a speakeasy, where people are going to be in close proximity. That means you might be sitting at the bar and she might be sitting right beside you, right? Now, if that's the case, you don't want to be screaming eagle. You don't want a fragrance that somebody can smell you across the bar, because that means the person beside you is just smelling too much of you, and that's just going to turn people off. So you want to be close. Something like that, I only do about 4 sprays on this. 4. If they're going to be, if I know, okay, I kind of want her, I'm going to set somewhere at least 1 or 2 chairs away from where she's sitting at the bar, then I'm only going to go about 4 or 5 sprays. That's what I would do with this. If I'm going to be out and about, a lot of people moving around, a lot of people might be wearing fragrances, something of that nature, maybe like a night out is busy, music, it's just a lot going on, maybe 7 or 8. Maybe 7 or 8, where you're not really stationary. You're kind of moving around. 7, maybe 8 is about the most I would do with this. And that's Ombre Safrano at number 10. Coming in at number 9 is another amazing and sweet, dark, resinous, and erotic fragrance. This is one that I love from the day it came out. I had this like, I ain't gonna say day one, but I know I had it early. I think, did I have it before Sebastian talked about it? I don't know. I think he talked about it before I had it, but it was already on my radar. This is from the house of Van Cleef and Arpels, and this is Orchid Leather. Now, keep in mind, kind of notes you're going to be getting in this dark fragrance. You're going to be getting some oud. You're going to be getting some leathers. You might be getting some tobaccos. Of course, you're going to be getting some ambers, and you're going to get some kind of fruit, a raspberry, or some kind of citrus or jammy kind of nuance. What you get here, plum and leather. Plum and leather. This is one of the best Van Cleef fragrances, and I own a lot of them from the private line. This is one of the best. Easily one of the best. Plum, leather, you get stuff like musk. It just works, man. It works. This is like leather jacket, bomber jacket, varsity kind of jacket, wool jacket, scully, quarter length. Like, this is just gonna work for you, bro. Getting out your Aston Martin or your Honda, whatever you got, and just kind of enjoying the night. This is confidence in a bottle. When you wear this, just know you smell amazing. You smell sexy. You smell erotic. You smell that just supple, smooth leather that's not too smoky, not too rough. It just works. I love it. Plum, leather, some woods, a little bit of musk. You can't go wrong. And that's Orchid Leather from the house of Van Cleef and Arpels. Moving on. Coming up next is from a very popular fragrance house, on TikTok and everywhere else. But this particular fragrance, when I say this assaults women's noses, this is a rose oud fragrance. This is a rose oud fragrance you can wear year around. This is coming out from the house of Louis Vuitton, one of my favorites, and that's Les Sables Roses. Les Sables Rose. Now, with this one, the way the rose comes off on this fragrance is almost watery. I believe ambroxan. This is rose oud, but it's the rose is on because it's watery. I believe with that ambergris or ambroxan in here, and it's bright and it's citrus. It's almost like going into a florist shop where they sprayed the roses down. Like they just got a fresh thing of roses. They cut the stems. They sprayed it down with water. Oh my God. This is one that I don't care when I wear this, it works. Coming off of my skin, I can speak for myself that it works. You can wear this in the summertime, but we're in winter. So we're talking about the winter time. It has that oud isn't too leathery, but just adds a hint of, to me, exotic. Oud, even though rose ouds in the Middle Eastern companies have been getting a lot of buzz, to the average nose, it's still something that's just going to come off absolutely exotic, especially if people are used to Macy's fragrances. When you walk into a space and you wear this, 6 sprays, yes, I do about 6 on this, because the beauty of the rose on my skin tends to come out more than the oud. And the rose will get people noticing you because there's a beauty and femininity that lies within this fragrance. So when they smell you, part of the allure, your aura, is going to be, damn, he wearing that? But as they experience you, that those woods and the oud, just dry woodiness, just wraps off of your skin, especially during the late dry down. And to me, it is one of the most beautiful. It's almost like rose water. It's like you bathed in rose water and smoked your clothes out with oud. The Sables Roses. You want to talk about complimenting You want to talk about seduction. You want to talk about mesmerizing. Yeah. Enchanting. Les Sables Roses from the House of Louis Vuitton. And that would be 10-9. That'd be my number 8 fragrance. Moving on. How y'all feeling? Hope y'all feeling good. Coming up next is a fragrance that I said is smoky, woody, ambery, and fruity, drizzled with a little bit of honey, just a tad bit of honey, almost drizzled on top of it. This fragrance, when I say the amount of compliments that this fragrance gets that I didn't think it would get, is insanity. This is coming from House of Christian Dior, and this is Tabac Color from Christian Dior. Now, this one, man, probably pound for pound, out in the streets, one of my most complimented tobacco fragrances I own. Yeah, man. Think of, you ever watched a video where they just peeling fruit and there's something sexual about it? Think of this sexual looking plum. You sliced it in the middle and honey is just dripping down the middle of it. And it's being bitten into. But then you have this smoke, this ambery, woody smoke that lingers in the background. Very woody, amber. The plum in here or the fruits in here is almost boozy, almost element to it. And that's partially also because of the honey. Listen, man, if I'm going out and I want compliments and I just want to wear tobacco, so I'm going to a speakeasy, steakhouse, cigar lounge, bourbon bar, anything like that. This is one of my go-tos, and I don't need a lot of sprays. I normally only do 4 to 6. That is it. 4 sprays is all I do on this, generally speaking. 4. Close. If I'm be close in proximity, sitting at a bar, I might only do 3. I'm gonna be totally honest. I might only do 3. Yeah, probably 3. And depending on, I could just do 2. But 3 is about where I'm gonna go at, and I will probably do the back of the neck and both shoulders if people gonna be beside me. But 4, anywhere from 4 to 6 is kind of max. I generally speaking don't go over 6 sprays with this. And I'm telling you, from the scent trail to the longevity and everything in between, Tabac Color just works. And that's my number 7. And as I'm looking at this list, I actually probably could have put it higher by a couple. But it is what it is. We're going to go with it. Coming in at number 5. Is booze, leather, oud, plum. Plum is is in this list a lot because I just think it's a bad boy kind of note. It is a note of sensuality and seduction. I think rose may be in here too. This is a great night out fragrance, but this, because of the way the oud plays in here, adds a hint of just masculine. The oud and tobacco, I believe some tobacco in here too. If it's not, there's a list of notes, or maybe a little bit of the oud that almost comes off like tobacco with the booze in here. And this is coming from the house of Boadicea de Victorious, and this is the king from Boadicea de Victorious. Now, this is a really amped up inspiration of Plum Japonais, but to me, Plum Japonais is almost floral to me. It's not as depth. It doesn't have as much depth as this to me. It didn't. This is just boozy, earthy, leather. I believe some cinnamons in here, honey. So there's warm spices, not honey, cinnamon, plum, leather, oud, booze. Maybe a little bit of patchouli, sandalwood. Oh, man. The king is just when you want to wear something dark, a hint of smoke. Like on my skin, this also gets a little bit smoky on my skin, and that could be the leather, that could be the oud. But to me, the king is just like God tier plum booze kind of fragrance to me. It just is. And in the cooler weather, when you want to be the Drake or the Rake, say it, the Drake. When you want to be the Rake, it just absolutely just kind of does what it needs to do. And that's the king from the house of Boadicea to Victoria. Moving on. Let me get this out. How y'all doing, brothers? Sisters, what up? What's your thoughts on Hypnotizing Fire perfume? I mean, it's cool. It's cool. I mean, listen, I know a lot of people like Hypnotizing Fire. Kevin Samuels, rest in peace. He loved it. I know Darian loves it. I know Beard loves it. It's a great fragrance. I don't feel the need to own it. But if you've been watching me for a while, I don't feel the need to own a lot of things people love. Because I need to just do more than love it for me to spend my money to buy it. I respect my money more than I respect the fragrances. You know, my money is part of my time because I traded in my time to get money. So for me to then spend my money, it has to have meaning. And because I have so many fragrances, I can like walk away like Jordan and retire. I can just do videos on all of these fragrances and walk away after I do every single review, and I can walk away and I'm cool. I just don't know if I'm gonna add another fragrance, but let me get through this top 10 and we can have these discussions on my thoughts. So save some of those questions for the end of my top 10, and then we can ask whatever questions you want to ask me. I'll answer it, and I'll try to remember to come back to your question. So where are we at? Number 5. We're coming in number 5. So let's speed this up and get to it. Coming in number 5 is a fragrance that just works on my skin. You get a little bit of passion fruit. You get leather. You get some amber. This is sexy, sensual. I believe there's some gourmand notes in here. It might be a little bit of, it almost comes off like caramel on my skin a little bit. Just very sweet on top of that passion fruit. And this is from the house of Xerjoff. And this is Tony Iommi Monkey Blend Special. Tony Iommi Monkey Blend Special. I was looking at adding the Defied. I think it's called the Defied to my collection, but I think I'm cool on that. I just think I'm cool on that. I don't know. I just don't know if it's worth me adding. But back to this list. This is dark, sweet, mysterious. Listen, you going out on a date like the king, this is a great one to have. Longevity, performance, you're not going to have an issue with this fragrance. You're just not going to have an issue with this fragrance. It wears on skin, and the sweetness with the cooler weather, it just kind of tones everything down to just such a masculine, but just a mysterious masculine wear to me. Because when I'm wearing it, I'm like, sometimes you be like, I don't know if I'm getting compliments because of that leather and that passion fruit kind of mixing. You'd be like, I don't know. But then when you wear it, the way it pops off the skin rather than on paper, it just all comes together, is well blended, and it absolutely works off of my skin. Another alluring, enchanting fragrance, just like everyone on this list. But this one is a good one at number 5. Xerjoff, Tony Iommi, Monkey Blend Special. Moving on. Let me take a sip. Next up to me, since I had this fragrance when it first came out, this fragrance has shocked me with the amount of compliments it gets. For probably, I've been praising this fragrance forever. This has been one of my secret, like those who knew. This is one of my secret weapons, but I think I let the cat out the bag maybe a couple of months ago. But I've been talking about this fragrance, been talking about it on Facebook. I had this fragrance for years. It just works. And to be honest, I really don't understand why it works, because I would have never thought that it should. But the compliments from women that it get when it comes to dark and mysterious just works. And this is Otto Parisi, and this is Terroni. Terroni. Now, if you know the brand of Otto Parisi, you already know that performance is not an issue here. Now, they don't release the notes. So any notes you see online isn't going to be real. But what I get here is some oud, some patchouli, some pink pepper. Like it's a fresh pepper spice. Maybe a little bit of birch, some musk. Mm. Mm. And there's the sweetness here. I don't know if it's a little bit of maybe some cedar in here. I feel like I'm getting some sweet woods in here. Now that could be the oud. It could be like Cambodian oud in here. But there's definitely some oud in here. So what you get here is this is spicy. When you think about a color or what this fragrance can represent, it represents the color red. It's fire. It represents heat. You can almost feel it when you wear it. And you would smell it. It smells like campfire charred woods at a campfire. And you would in your mind say, I don't see how that can get compliments. I would really agree with you that I would say, I don't see why that gets compliments. But it absolutely gets the people going. I've talked about this fragrance enough. In the last 2 or 3 months, it's made probably like 4 lists. Deservingly so, because in this time of year is where I like to reach for this. And a little goes a long way. This is a room filler. This leaves scent trail. This is a 2 spray fragrance for me. 2. 3 if I'm feeling froggy. Now, if I'm going to a cigar lounge where people going to be smoking, I might go 4. I might even go 5 because I'm competing with the cigar smoke. But outside of that, I generally don't go over 4 sprays ever on this. And I mostly stay at about 2, 2.5. So I might do 2 full sprays and maybe like a half somewhere. But I'm normally anywhere from 4, no more than 6. No more than 6. 4 to 6, anywhere from 2 to 6, 4 to 6, somewhere up in that range, depending on where I'm going, what I'm doing. Otto Parisi Terroni is magnificent. I might even say a masterpiece. I don't know why this gets the compliments it gets, but it gets the compliments it gets. Again, that's like really a 2 spray fragrance for me. If I'm gonna be totally honest, I don't know why you're going really over 2 sprays on that. It's unnecessary, but if you must, maybe 3. I think anything over 3 is just doing way too much. I think you're just doing too much. If you're over 3, to be totally honest, people will smell you. Trust me. And if you're gonna be close proximity, it might be like 1.5. I don't even know if you need 2 sprays. You might be more like 1.5, if I'm gonna be frank. Be honest. It's one of those. It's one of those. All right, where we at? Number three. Number three. Coming in at number three, I have raved about this fragrance for many, many, many years. Well, I ain't gonna say many, many years, but for a long time. It is a staple on my channel. I have said, and I stand by, that this is one of the sexiest and one of my favorite leathers of all time. This is from the house of Armani Privé, and this is Queer Majesty. Queer Majesty. This one here, you have some fruits, but some of the key notes in this, outside of leather, amber, you get some rose in here. But I believe one of the notes that really stand out in here that separates it, I believe osmanthus is in here. Ooh, you can just floral. So you have rose and osmanthus, just floral mid. I believe some ouds in here, but that's not really a major player. It's adding just some density to the overall composition. Ooh, but listen, I love florals, and I think the way the florals play on top of this ambery, resinous, woody leather, dried fruits. I'm getting like hints of like almost like apricots. And apricot can be also coming from this osmanthus, this almost peachy apricot kind of thing going on. With maybe like a small hint of like plum, or maybe even like some dates or something, like some dates in the background. Like these plum dates, kind of raisin kind of things going on. Queer Majesty is a masterpiece to me. It is a designer fragrance, and by far, to me, still the best leather fragrance I've ever smelt. It is the most versatile. It is great for a date night fragrance. It sucks that it's a Heritage exclusive, but in the groups, if you can find it, it is definitely worth the ad. Queer Majesty at number three. All right. Where we at? We're at number two. Get this one ready. This one is a room filler. Okay. Coming in at number two, we're going to talk about a highly complimented fragrance from men and from women. Men want to be you. They want to pull this off when they smell you. They're going to want to know what it is because they want to buy it. Like they want to pull it off. This one of them kind of fragrances that other men will compliment you on. And that's not a bad thing. There's a reason you kind of should want to impress other men. From a business aspect, it's a reason why men wear certain watches, drive certain cars, because those who know, and a lot of business deals can be done when you're in the circles of men who are in admiration of each other. Business gets done that way. Money is important to you. You should want to conduct business. But women also adore this as long as you don't overspray it. It works because it is loud. This is coming from the house of Ni Shane, a Christian Provenzano fragrance. And this is Mana. Mana. Mana from Ni Shane. Now, what you get here is the best version, the most smoothed out, well-rounded version of Louis Vuitton's Ombre Nomad. It is far, far superior to Ombre Nomad. There is zero screechiness in this. It is buttery smooth from beginning to end. The depth of this is impeccable. And like a fragrance like Ombre Nomad, this, when I say, bro, when I say men and women will admire you, it lingers for days. If it gets on your jacket one day and you wear it the next day, it's still going to be there. Oh, man. Rose, oud, saffron is leathery, spicy, fruity, dark, resinous. The way the rose plays with the oud, to me, a rose oud fragrance or rose oud fragrances are almost as rake as you can get, especially if it's a oud fragrance that has leather or slightly animalic nuances. I know some people be like, well, animal, what does it smell like an animal? To me, that's not what animalic means to me. Think of something really earthy. You might get hay like nuances. That's where you're going to get into the barnyard kind of thing. So it's a little earthy. And when I say earthy, think almost like a patchouli, slightly soily a little bit. So it's a hint of like dirt, like unrefinement. But then you add this beautiful rose with spices, some musk that wraps the composition, that takes the rough edges of unrefinement, and refines the fragrance. It's like how you look before you get your beard shaped up and you haven't had it cut in 3 or 4 days. You kind of look unkept, even if you're in a suit. But sometimes that unkept beard in a suit can like refine you. It's like, damn, he in a suit, but it's a little rough. So it's like some of these football players in a suit. You like, bro, like a Viking beard, but you're wearing a suit. There's something in that that's extremely mysterious. You're in a suit, but yet you got tattoos all the way up your neck, but you're in a tailored suit with a nice watch and a pair of shoes. But your beard might be a little scruffy. You got tattoos up your neck, but you got like designer glasses, a nice watch, stepping out a nice car. And there's a mystery in that that's going to draw people in. That's what mana is. That's what mana is. This is rough edges and refinement combined in one that lasts all day long. 2 sprays. 3 at most. 4 if you're feeling freaky. I don't think is necessary. If you're going to be in close proximity to somebody, do not do more than 2 sprays. Please, for the love of God. You don't need to. You just don't need to. They're going to smell you. Trust me. They're going to smell you. You don't need to do it. They'll smell you. 2. That's it. Close proximity. If it's a place where you're moving around, so you're never in one place, you're at this bar, you're checking out at this bar, then you're outside having a cigar or smoking hookah, and then you're back inside, then you're drinking, then you're dancing over here. There's a lot of moving parts and pieces and moving around from table to table, whatever you're doing, maybe 3 or 4 sprays. That way you can just leave a just intoxicating scent trail wherever you go. People will know you've been in the room. That's mana from Nishane at number 2. Like, we got 157. Appreciate y'all being in here. Please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. I appreciate it. After this one, we're going to get to some questions. Let me see. I'm at about an hour, so I might give it like an extra 20 minutes, give or take, after I do this one, and then we're going to go ahead and get up out of here. All right? Last but not least, I kind of hate that I have this at number 1 because it's kind of hard to find, but it really deserves to be number 1. There's some bottles floating out there, but you got to scour the earth to get them, and you're going to pay a pretty penny to get it. But it's number 1 for a reason. This on any given day can be easily a top 5 rose oud fragrance in my collection. And easily, if not top 5, if not 1 or 2, depending on the day of the week. I have in my collection. Day of the week. The way the rose pops off skin is like you were born half human, half rose petals. May rose used in here is so citric, so just alluring and intoxicating that this is a must-have fragrance. Where it is, I think this is discontinued. There are bottles floating around. I don't know why it's discontinued. It shouldn't have been. This is from the house of Boudicca the Victorious. This is Carbon Sapphire. Carbon Sapphire. This fragrance here, easily another one of my most complimented rose oud fragrances. The oud in here it's doing so much. It's its own player. It's you get your rose, you get some saffron, you get oud, you get a little patchouli, you get musk. And yes, that note breakdowns in a lot of different fragrances. But the way the oud hits here, it's dark. At times, it's leathery. It's extremely spicy. I think Oud Assam's supposed to be in here. I think it's Oud Assam they used in here. So to describe the oud within itself, you get something that's like a dark leather, but buttery smooth dark leather. Black, buttery smooth. You get something that's a little dry, woody, and peppery. Think like black pepper, woody black pepper kind of thing going on. You have that sensual musk, but the way the May rose, which outside of rose, Taif rose, May rose may be my second favorite rose you can put in a fragrance. Or Rose de Mai, May rose, only grows in May, I believe. It just blooms. Off of skin, it blooms. This is a 10 plus hour fragrance. 10 plus hours. This is dark, sexy, mysterious, alluring, enchanting, masculine, feminine. This is everything I want in a rose oud. And when you wear this out at night or wear this out in general and you're dressed a certain way, it's going to garner you the utmost attention. If you are a rose oud fan, if you are a Boudicca fan, this is a rose oud you should have in your collection. If you want to experience rose oud, even if you like, I kind of like it, but I'm not ready for it. But I think I kind of want to see what's going on. I just think you should have it. You should just have it. A little goes a long way. And on any given day of the week, I sometimes like this more than I like Narcissi, because Narcissi just has a lot going on, from like hookah to like roses to oud to amber to leather to woody, back to, it's doing a lot, especially with that hookah cardamom coffee thing going on. This is just the best parts of Narcissi without everything else. It's almost what I get here. They're very similar, but really not. Stellar. Scale of 1 to 10, 10 out of 10. It's 11 out of 10 rose oud fragrance for me. Easily. Is it the best rose oud in my collection? Depends on the day of the week. One day I'm going to do that list. I might do that list within the next week and a half. My favorite rose ouds in my collection for the winter. But trust me, this just works. But I like this at night, and especially in this time of year where it's cooler. That's where this absolutely shines. Steakhouse, bourbon, any of that, Carbon Sapphire is your person to do. That's at number 1. So that was my top 10 instant sex appeal fragrances from my Art of Seduction series number 2. And the archetype for this series was the Rake. The Rake. Now, if you have dark, mysterious, erotic fragrances within your collection, leave your comment down below. List those fragrances and what you like. Again, everything ain't going to make a list. I literally could have added 10 more fragrances from my collection to this list, but I didn't want to be here all day. So with that being said, I appreciate you tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and all that other good stuff. Peace. All right. That's that. For those who came here to see the top 10 on what I was going to list, I appreciate you tuning in. Hit the like button on your way out. For everybody else who are actually subscribed and been subscribed for 2 weeks, it's kind of where I leave it at. I don't think I'm going to change that. It's going to take you 2 weeks to get in here. That's 2 weeks of kind of watching the content until you can get in here. Then, then we can converse and you can ask me questions and things of that nature. But let's go ahead and get to it. Let me look at some questions. Let me just scroll back a good. I didn't mention, somebody said he didn't mention BTV in an honorable mention. I don't, King Frederick, I don't know why I should. Yeah, I don't know. As I always said, I'm not going to mention a lot of things. Y'all might have none of these. Y'all might have saw this collection, this list, and none of your favorite fragrance or any fragrance that you own is on this list. I mean, it is what it is. You didn't think Tobacco Color was like that? Listen, man, for me, again, I'm giving you my experience, right? I don't know where people be at. I don't know what people do. A lot of people live on the internet. They ain't outside enough. They ain't around humans enough. They don't know how to start conversations with people. I make it a habit on a daily basis. I keep my game tight, and I don't even really want to call it game. I call it people skills. I have a thing with me that every day that I'm out the house, I'm going to start a conversation with 2 people, at least 3. Sometimes on a good day, I like to say 5. I want to have at least 5 meaningless conversations with strangers. And I want to be able to start it, spark it up, have it last for a while, and then end it on my terms. That's how you keep people skills sharp. Some of y'all aren't sharp. Y'all be on the internet too much. It's LOL. It's LLS and all this other nonsense. And then you get around people and women and you don't know how to conduct yourself and how to have a conversation without being thirsty or doing too much. Is because you have no home training. You don't know how to start business. You don't know how to network. You don't know how to be in different situations. I don't care if I'm in the hood. I don't care if I'm at a boardroom. I can talk to everybody. I don't care if I'm around a group of women. I can have a conversation around a group of women. It don't matter. That doesn't intimidate me because I don't want nothing out of it. Some of y'all get into conversations because y'all expect things out of it. And when you don't get that, it's discouraging. I don't want anything from most people. Most things I can get myself. But networking is a great tool in being able to converse, to show your personality, to be likable is a money-making skill. That's called networking. Your network is your net worth. You know people with money, you start knowing more people with money, you can find a way to get more money. Who you know matters. It's not always what you know. It's who you know and where you are matters in every aspect in life. I don't care what somebody told you. It matters. Take it or leave it. I don't know what to tell you. But you have to be able to have these kind of fragrances that are going to start conversations and spark interest. Learn how to spark an interest. Some people, the youth call it ore farming. Okay, cool. Whatever you want to call it. But learn how to be easy, bro. Learn how to work on yourself. That's why, if anybody's seen videos, which I got them pinned in TikTok, if you come over from TikTok, I think I have the video on YouTube. If you clearly y'all on YouTube or even Instagram, where I have my fragrance room. My fragrance room isn't just fragrances, isn't my cigars right here, isn't my bourbons, but I also have a good extensive library of books. And it ain't a whole bunch of nonsense. It's like the mind. The universe cannot universe without thought. That's how the universe starts. It starts with thought in mind. Your mind is important on how you do your universe. verse. Your mind. Is how everything starts with the mind. It starts with knowledge. It starts with the mind. The mind creates it. And you can be really more in control of your universe than what you perceive based on your mindset. And I was thinking about doing a Friday live, and I want to bring the guys on, and I probably need to see, because there's a lot of topics. I know a lot of topics about what OBJ said. And I was going to kind of leave that for like an uncensored kind of thing. But I get what he means. He didn't explain it well because he ain't good at explaining, but being broke is a mindset. Now, no, and you can really be broke. Yes. But it's a mindset. And what I mean by that is, if you can't manage money making 50K, you won't manage money making 100K. You know how I know that? Because most of y'all, and I'm saying y'all, not people watching me, but in society, when you get raises, you don't invest more. When you get raises, you don't put that money aside. Y'all just buy more fucking fragrances. I got more money, I'm buying more fragrances. I had people, like, when I posted I was going to the Porsche dealership and buying me a Porsche, and I'm also in talks to get a 2024 GTS. I'm looking at. I don't necessarily like the color option build on this particular GTS, but I'm still weighing out the pros and cons of getting that car. But I'm in talks with the dealership on picking that up. But car season is over with, so on. Anyway, when I was doing that, I had a couple people in my inbox like, hey, what you do? I don't even like answering those questions. And part of the reason why is because, like, it don't really matter what I do. It don't really matter, because some of y'all, like, one of my first questions would be like, what your portfolio look like? What your savings account look like? And most people be like, well, I don't really have that much in my savings. Then it don't matter what I do. You just want a shortcut in how to make more money, but you just want to make more money so you can spend more money. You ain't making more money so you can pay off your bills, get your credit up. You want to make more money to spend more money. So when you start looking at what OBJ is talking about, like, there's a level where you can be rich, but you can be like broke rich. And that kind of sucks. That sucks. And let's weigh it out. I ain't gonna go into the taxes and what OBJ had to pay in taxes. And that's Odell Beckham Jr., for those who don't know. I ain't gonna really go into that, right? Let's talk about this. Some of us could never imagine having your entire family that you now have to support. They say more money, more problems. Y'all make 160K, 50K. You don't have your mama telling you to buy you a house. You don't have your daddy feeling like you got to buy a house. You don't have your brother who ain't working forever thinking you should finance his lifestyle. You don't got best friends who asking you that whenever you go shopping, you should take them shopping. So now you come up in an environment of poverty, right? You come up in an environment of poverty. That's the physical. But then you also have a poverty mindset. That's the mental. And you're at this place where you're like 50 million up. But with 50 million, all these friends, you make so much more money than your friends you grew up with that anytime you're with them, you're financing the event. If you're going on a trip, you're probably financing. If you're hanging out, you're probably financing shopping sprees. They're hanging out with you. They're getting drinks. You're buying tables. You're at the club. You're trying to keep up with the Joneses because now you're 50 million. Now you want to get all the toys that you ever want to get. So you want to buy a couple of cars. You want to have a couple of Lamborghinis. You want to buy a couple of houses. What they didn't tell you is depending on what state you in, you got to pay taxes on those Lamborghinis. If you're in a state like Virginia, that's why a lot of people get Montana taxes on a business, having a Montana business. Because they don't want to pay vehicle tax on that $500,000 Lamborghini. You got to pay yearly taxes on that. That's a good chunk of change. You also got to pay your taxes on your mortgage every single year. Well, you got a $5 million home. You got to pay taxes on that $5 million every single year. Even when you retire, that same money needs to be paid. You got to pay that. You're financing your friends. You might get to a point and say, bro, I got to get new friends because they too broke to be around me, because anytime they're around me, I got to spend money. Now my friends are like girlfriends that I'm not fucking. You know what I'm saying? They liabilities, financial liabilities. That can be your homeboy from another mother, but y'all hanging out, y'all, and then if you young, y'all at the clubs, y'all at the party, you hanging out, you got a little bit of money and you got fame, your friends are a financial liability now. So it's like, okay, cool, I got to get new friends. But now you're in this rich category. But now you get in circles where you're hanging out with like richer dudes. And now you are the broke friend because they're getting private jets and stuff of that nature. But you don't make enough money for that. And you make too much money for them over there. So you're in this place where it's like, I don't make enough money for these friends. I make too much money for these friends. I can't really live around the area where these friends are in the hood somewhere because they hating and they gonna Sean Taylor me and run up in my house and take what I got because motherfuckers be hating. So I gotta move over here. But when I move over here, I'm gonna get good friends. But they got boats, yachts, and now I gotta keep up with the Joneses. It's no different than us $100,000 naires. Y'all see all these fragrances behind me and you want to have what I have, but you don't know what I do to get it, or you don't know what I make, but you want to have 50 million fragrances with $100 in your bank account. It's a mindset. You want to have a couple of hundred fragrances, but your credit score is in the 600s or below. It's a mindset. So somebody can give you $50 million, you'll just blow it. You'll blow it. You'll blow it in 5 years. 5 years, it'll be gone. Everybody say they can invest. Oh, I'll invest it and I'll make. You don't know what to fucking do with that money. You don't know what to do with it. You don't know about trust. You don't know what to do with that money. Trust me, you'll blow through it in 5 years. You'll buy a couple of exotic cars, but then you won't buy the right exotic. So then if you buy the right exotic, at least when you sell it, you will make money or break even, but you don't know the right watches or cars to buy. So now when you try to get rid of it, get something else, you taking a loss every time you trade out of that car or get another car because nobody taught you how to buy the right car with the right options. But then you're getting the house that you really don't need because you're getting a $5 million house, but it's just you and your one kid, but you're paying taxes on that house, but you want to get a pool done, and now every year those taxes and the car taxes and all that stuff coming out and your insurance, but then you want to keep up with your rapper friends, and now you want to buy jewelry, and now you want to buy designer clothes, and now you want to really get a fragrance room where you got 1 million fragrances, and bro, you're just gonna blow through the money because it's a mindset. If you don't have good credit when you poor, you ain't gonna have good credit when you get money. You're just gonna buy more shit. How many of y'all have gotten raises, and instead of saving money and taking that money that you got, if you got $100 raise, you should put that $100 into a portfolio. Instead, you buy $100 more fragrances. And I know this to be because if you don't have at least 3 months and 3 months is me being generous. In today's economy, you need 6 months of lifestyle payments. What I mean is, if you got fired, you should have enough money, physical cash, that you can touch where you can live your same lifestyle, pay bills, buy stuff, do whatever you want to do for 6 months without unemployment. If you can't do that, why are you buying anything? It's a mindset. That's how I see it. When I don't have that kind of money, I feel broke. I feel broke and I won't buy anything. I saw a fragrance in the Boudicca group that I've been looking on getting. Somebody got it, Torino. I can afford to get it. I got it. But I'm just like, it's not my budget. So I'm not getting it. Trust me, I want to get it. I got the money. I got the money a lot over. I have it, cash, physical cash, right in my bank account. I can go get it. I can get it and not break a sweat. It's like $1,200. I can get it. I wouldn't care. I can get it. I can blow it. But do I need it? No, not really. Not now. Not at that price. And that price is the price. So it's just like, I've kind of come to terms that I'm never going to add a fragrance. And I'm okay with not having that fragrance. It's not, but I'm disciplined. And I'm disciplined when it comes to money. I'm extremely disciplined and cheap when it comes to certain things. I am. But you gotta, I don't want to keep preaching to the thing, but this is why when it goes back to that question I was asked earlier in the chat, is people said, what was that question? It was a question about buying something, and or if I had something, and I was just like, Young, you've been watching me, I don't feel a need to have everything. I don't feel a need. New fragrances come out every day. I'm gonna be honest. Here's in 2026 and beyond, I might only buy one fragrance a year. I don't I don't want to be the 5,000 plus bottles of fragrances in my room. I think most people who got that many fragrances, unless you like Monica, which I think Monica from KLE, she showed her fragrance room like she a multi-millionaire. Like she got a real room with like shelves. It looked like a fragrance boutique kind of thing. Most other people, they got that shit is cluttered, bro. That would irk me. Coming into a space of clutter, stuff on the floor, and bro, I would be upset. I don't like dirty clutter. I couldn't live like that. Some people okay living like that. To each his own. I couldn't do it. Me, I don't want to do it. So I'm at a place and I still got hella room. I probably got enough room for about a couple of hundred more fragrances before I'm just out of shells, because I'm not adding more shells in here. I'm not. So I'm just at a point where I think I'm just going to get one fragrance a year, maybe two. And one of those fragrances will be every year, Raja does a Bergdorf exclusive limited release. That'll be the only fragrance I buy every year. The Bergdorf fragrance. That's $1,200. That's the only fragrance I'm buying every year. And that's because it's a limited release. And he hasn't failed me on one yet. It hasn't been one yet that I didn't like. The moment he put out something that I don't like, then I'm done there. But as long as he keep dropping bangers that I'm willing to. So for me, that $1,200, you say, damn, $1,200 for one fragrance. Yeah, but I'm only going to buy one fragrance a year. And that's $200 a month, which is $200. Think if I only spent $200 a month, and then in December when the fragrance come out, then I'm just going to take that money and buy the fragrance. I don't care that, oh, this came out. It's good. It's sexy. The women love it. Man, fuck what they love, bro. I don't care what they got to do with me. They love all this back here too. I'm cool. They love these 10 I talked about. I'm cool. They ain't going to do nothing no more than what Les Sables Roses do. Even if it's really good, their reaction ain't going to be no different than what I'm going to get here. So if it's not something that really like goes in a different direction or does something different, it has to make sense for me to buy it. And it got to be more than just good. So I just don't know how much new content I'm really going to put out besides talking about the stuff I already own. If companies don't send it, they won't get talked about. That's kind of where I'm at now. Send it or don't send it. If you don't send it, cool. I don't got to talk about you. If you send it, I'll talk about you. That's it. It's kind of where I'm at now. Because I just don't need it. But I also don't want to be flooded with everybody sending me stuff. So I'm turning down things and collaborations. I'm cool on that. I don't want to collaborate with everybody either. Just because I don't want a whole bunch of shit on my show. So that's my thought when everybody be like, what's going on with this, you know, with this, you know, what's up with this fragrance and what's your thoughts on this fragrance coming out? Now, if I live in the Washington, D.C. area, I can go to Tyson's Corner, I can smell everything within Fairfax, Virginia. We have a like Labo Boutique, we have Neiman's, Saks, Macy's, of course, Bloomingdale's, a really good one. We have Arabian Oud, we have a Nice store. In downtown Washington, D.C., we got Krigler. We have a Krigler boutique. For those who live in D.C. don't know about that, yeah, we have a Krigler boutique. Get outside more. Touch grass, get off the internet. It's a Krigler boutique in downtown D.C. It's in a hotel. Yeah, anything I kind of want to smell, I think we don't have Henry Jocks, I don't think. We have Ariana Shoshana. She got her own boutique. I ain't been down there, but she got that, and she got a whole bunch of like indie niche kind of things going on over at her shop. So, you know, if it's something y'all want me to smell, I smell it. But 9 out of 10, I'm gonna be like, it was good. I'm not buying it. That's why we're gonna get none. That's gonna be my reaction for most things. Oh, it's cool. I ain't buying it because I don't, you know, I don't need it. But you got to prioritize. So I say all that to say, I kind of get what OBJ was saying. I get it. I'm not in his situation, but I get it. I can only imagine if I'm up 60 million, if I want to hang out with everybody I grew up with, I'm going to end up funding that bill. I'm going to be okay with that for like 3 or 4 or 5 times. But after that, it's like, all right, well, how many times I'm going to fund this bill? Because that shit add up. Getting at this 5-star Michelin restaurant, now your bill $10,000 for a food and drink bill, for a table, for flights, for hotel rooms, for resorts, for all that. You're gonna be like, all right, I'm paying for that. All right, all right, cool. I gotta figure out a way to bring the party to my house. But even after that, it's like it's and then you know, you be like, oh, I gotta buy my mom my house. I gotta buy. Think you 20-something years old. Ain't nobody taught you that. The average NFL career is less than 5 years too. It's only 3 years. So you went to college, and your career is over for 3 years. What you graduate college at about 24, about 25, you're retired and you're not working again. And now you got to find a job and figure out what you're going to do. Some people say I'll have that for life. Yeah, you will. You think so. When you retire, what you was making when you were getting game checks, that's like cut 75%. That's not what you're getting. Your retirement checks aren't going to be what you were getting on game day. It's going to be extensively cut. So if you were living check to check, your retirement checks isn't going to pay that bill. Now you got to downsize the house and pay for the house and get rid of it's a mindset. It's a mindset. Don't nobody teach you. And if you don't learn or you don't get off the internet arguing and looking up stuff, but actually educating yourself, these are smartphones, mini computers, educate yourself on finances. You can educate, there's nothing you can't educate yourself on. On this phone, find and look up the right stuff, not the wrong stuff. But, you know, it's cool. I don't want to harp on it because everybody want to know what the next fragrance they should buy. So, hey, to each his own. It's your bank account, your money. I don't care either way. Let me see if these bum-ass Cowboys losing. What score? Y'all bums. I can't really say it as Commander fan, but we've been hurt. You bums. 27, pack them up. It's over. But no, Dallas came back on somebody not a couple of weeks ago. So the game ain't over yet. But, you know, I did put money on the Lions winning. So I need to see what these player stats is because I put a nice little parlay in too. I need Dak to get like 40 more passing yards, which because they're losing, he should do that. So I should get that because I got him over 200. I need Jared Goff to keep throwing over 200. So that'll work. Gibbs, 63 yards. I think I might be good on that. I ain't put nothing on Armand. I should have put 30 yards at least on him. Anyway, I don't want to talk about this game. But find out what's important to you. But asking somebody, hey, man, what you do or how you get that? What you really want to know is a shortcut. There is no shortcut. Discipline. if you can't do it, if you can't, well, I don't want to say a blanket statement like that because the cost of living is kind of high. So, but if you make a significant amount of money, and you can't save certain amounts of money, now I know there is a level that you need to make where you can save because sometimes rent is X amount of price and rent is going to eat up X amount of your paycheck. So it's going to take you a minute to get to a certain thing. But that also means that if you're kind of living like that, you probably shouldn't have a whole bunch of fragrances. But I respect money. I respect money because I respect my time. And because I live in a capitalistic society, I exchange my time for money. I can never get my time back. That's why you clock in. I can never get that time back that I spent at work. But I say, if I do this, you're going to give me this. So then this is a representative, that money is a representative of the time that I spent that I can never get back. When you look at money like that, this money is the time that I spent that I can never get back. Do I want to blow the wallet? If you do, cool. But that's your own question. You got to figure that out. Figure that out. I can't hold your hand. I can't, you know what I mean? That's your life you got to live. Let me pull up the YouTube and we're going to end it. We're going to end it in a little while, make sure I get some questions. But I just want people to make smart decisions. But there's a lot of fragrances I just don't own, and I don't care if I don't own them. It's not an issue. It's just I don't have no beef with Parfums de Marly. I only own Herod, and then I got their new one, which I didn't need to own. It's cool, but it's like a 6 or 7 out of 5. The latest, not the latest, the Aragon and all them other ones, but the one people say something like Juan Perrier. I forgot the name of it, but that's how much I wore it. It was cool though. It was good for what it is, but I didn't need it. So do I hate Parfums de Marly? No, I just don't feel the need to own it. I don't feel the need to own the clones that everybody talk about and love. I don't know. You know, having this behind you to try to sell me on a $20 clone isn't going to do that for me. It'll do it for the weak-minded. They'll fall for that. I'm not falling for that. I don't. You know what I'm saying? Y'all will fall for it because it's, you know, what's behind me kind of, you say, oh man, you must know what he's talking about. Do I? I have all this good behind me, but then these other things always make the list, but not the stuff behind me. But why is it behind you then? Why isn't the stuff that you keep saying make the list? Why isn't that behind you? All because I want to validate whatever it is I'm pushing because, well, whatever. Marketing 101. Product placement. It matters. We can go into marketing, how that works, but it's all product placement. It's all matters. I know because when I was sitting on the couch, people didn't take me serious. Not everybody. My day ones rock with me, but people ain't take me serious. I had people calling me a goddamn TJ Maxx shopper. I was like, what? Okay, boy. Okay, bro. And then I just got tired and I was like, all right, fuck this. Now I'm just gonna blast y'all. I'm just gonna start stunting and showing out. And then it was like, oh, he got some shit. Yeah, I got some shit. I shouldn't have to show that, but you know, it validates certain things and it's cool. All right, now you take me a little bit more serious. I get it. I think it's stupid, but I do get it. Let me see. Yo, EQ, somewhat off topic question. If you get it, cool. What books would you recommend young men should be reading? 25. Jesus Christ. Jordan Peterson books. He's a good author. Maybe I can do that my next video. I'll make sure I have some books. I got some on order actually. I'm gonna tell you, I got 2 that should be here tomorrow. I got 3 that should be here tomorrow. I ordered like 3 more books. Hold on. Let me go to my Amazon. I think you know, for me, one of my Message to the Black Man was a must read for me for obvious reasons. Mess to the Black Man. It's a must read for me. Trying to think what else is up there. The Superior Man. Science Itself. Trying to think what else I got over there. How to read body language. That's important. Body language. You need to know how to read body language and know how to read people, because I think that's really good in like just moving on through life. Because you got to know how humans behave and how humans work and how to read that. It'll save your life. But it's just a good trait to have, to be able to just read human nature, embody people, and know why people do what they do. And then, so I got Saturday, I got I got Science of the Mind coming from Ernest Holmes. I'm gonna start reading that. Science of the Mind. I want to see what that's about. What else I got coming? Saturday, I got Biocentrism by Robert Lanza, MD, with Bob Berman. How life and conscious are keys to understanding the nature and the universe. So I'm really big on understanding why. Why do people do what they do? Why do things happen the way they happen? Because everything has a why. You do what you do because there's a why. And if you doing things and you don't know why you're doing it, then you should stop doing it, because you should figure out what your why is. Jordan Peterson, Beyond Order. The 12 Rules of Life is a good book, but I also ordered his the other part of 12 Rules of Life, which is 12 More Rules for Life, Beyond Order. So I got that coming, and that's going to be coming as well. So that's the kind of stuff I'm like into. Like, how can I be a better man? It's all like reflection and internal stuff. Like, that's why I view life totally different. The moment you take accountability for your decisions. So if you buy a blind buy and it doesn't work out, and you don't blame the reviewer for you buying that blind buy because you chose to do it because it's your money, you feel a lot better in life, and you just say, okay, cool, I got to make better decisions. I learned from that mistake. Cool. But it ain't that reviewer's fault. It's your fault. It's your money. You went to your bank account and decided to buy that based on whatever. But you got to just ask yourself, why? Why am I getting that? Always ask myself, why am I getting that? Like, I'm be honest, talking to y'all, I kind of want that Boadicea Torino, but I'm like, why am I? Do I have to have it? I'm like, kind of do. It's discontinued. It's hard to find. I got it. It ain't like I don't got it, but it's like, it is somewhat of a grail, and I'm only getting grails now, but it's just like, it wasn't in the problem is it wasn't in my bingo card budget. And I kind of blew my wallet when I got champagne, Raja Bergdorf champagne, because I was expecting to buy that. But it kind of is what it is. If I find one in January at a certain price or whatever, then I might be able to bust a move on that one. But I'm also waiting for Saudi Arabia. I think people who are at Sin Explorer, shout out to y'all at Sin Explorer right now. They talked to Raja today because he had his thing in what I was going to say. He said his Saudi Arabia, the Gulf Series Saudi Arabia, is coming back out in the 50 ml. So that is a grail for me. I will get that. Even if I got to pay retail for that, I'm going to get that bottle. So, yeah. Hopefully by then the tariffs are done, so I don't have to pay $100 on top of an already retail bottle. But I'm hoping that discounters or somebody can get it so I can pay less. But that's not always a thing, and I can't live off that. I can't live off that mindset of that's going to happen. But yeah, there's a ton of books that I just it's just Science of Life, just Ways of the Superior Man. I just think there's certain books you should just have in your staple. Hold on, and then I have also audios. There's another author. Hold on one second. Where's my Kindle at? Because sometimes I'll put some stuff on audio, so when you driving around or you in your car, you on your way to work. UOU is a good one. Eric Thomas, that's the guy who do the football stuff, the influencer. That's a good one. Begin with we. Begin with we is a good one. That's the 10 principles. Hold on, let me find it. I got to finish reading this one. I ain't finished reading this one. Begin with we, 10 principles for building and sustaining a culture of excellence by Kyle McDonald. I got to finish that book. Laws of Human Nature, how to walk into a room. So, you know, things that just make you self-reflect and have some inner stuff. I just think anything that makes you be a better man is it's just something you should take up on. Let me see what else. Very Sagittarius. I know I'm the same. Yeah, yeah, man. We always have a search for knowledge when it comes to being a Sagittarius. Search somewhat off topic. All right, let me see. They say rich man, poor man, cry like a man is a good one. Cry like a man is a good one. I like that. Let me see what else. Hey Q, have you tried anything from Bariknikov? I smelled them. So at Tyson's Corner, I think they got what Syed Nova or something like that. That was cool or whatever. I don't own none of it. To answer the question, I don't own none of it, but I mean, it was cool. It was good. I don't feel I need to. I don't know. I just don't feel like I need to own it. And I get it that the niche. Well, I don't even want to call them niche snobs. I feel like the indie snobs would be like, oh, you gotta own. I don't gotta own a motherfucking thing. That's first and foremost. I don't gotta own a goddamn thing. That's first and foremost. Let's start there. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to have anything in my car. I got what I got. And I know when I walk out the house, I smell good. And that's what matters to me. That's it. But it was cool, but I don't know. It was cool. It was good. There are a few that I like, but they weren't like must have for me. Not at this junction. If I would have got on them like back in 2017, when I was like really building the collection and like getting stuff like prior to like getting all the Mansers, yeah, my collection would look totally different if I wouldn't have like went bananas with the Mansers and kind of went in another direction before I went there. My collection would just look different, but I didn't, and so this is where we're at. But yeah, they got some good fragrances. My thoughts is sample it and see what works for you. Moving on with the next question. Your car can be your university. Yeah, audiobooks are good to have. Just something to think about. Don't feed your mind with foolishness. The internet is a bunch of foolishness and a bunch of bullshit. And I don't know, every now and then you need a break from that. So I don't know, like take things in, read it once, read it twice, listen to it once, listen to it twice, figure out how to look internally. Like, why did that bad thing happen to me? Why did I not get that job? Why did that girl break up with me? Even if she cheated, find a way to figure out what you did wrong. Even if she was a jerk and she did you wrong, she stole from you, just find out, what did you do wrong? What you did wrong was, did you miss the signs? Did you not pay attention to the writing on the wall? Did you can learn from everything. And the military taught us that you should have an after actions review. You should after actions review everything. After actions review is, we did a mission. Even if the mission was successful, can we do the mission better or safer? Because if you don't have these reviews and you don't have good assessments of it, somebody can get hurt and get killed. So you want to have that after action review. Come on, we just did this mission. Let's talk about it. Even if it's good, what went good with the mission? Okay, these things went good. We came in, we did this, blah, blah, blah. Okay, what went bad? There's always something bad. And what went bad? Okay, we did this and this. Okay, now what can we learn from it? If you're not looking at life that way, okay, I didn't get that job. Why didn't I get that job? I didn't write my resume good enough. I didn't interview well. Okay, what do I need to do to interview well? Okay, I need to do this. Hey, man, I went in real estate. I lost a lot of money in real estate. What did I do wrong? I didn't get a mentor. Okay, I need to spend money to get a mentor. Just whatever it is, have an after actions review. In every relationship, trust me, you can find something you did wrong in there. And when you have internal stuff, you just start blaming the world with your own oppression and everything else going on. Because at the end of the day, a lot of stuff you ain't gonna stop. So pay attention to things you can control. I can control how I respond to things. Some people say, "Oh, well, you know, listen, I'm a Second Amendment person. I like having a gun no matter where I go." But also ask myself, if I got to go somewhere where I feel the need, where I got to have my gun, I don't go those places. And if that happens to be somebody's house, then guess what? I'm not going over there. I'll bring the party to me or something. I don't know. I want life of peace and happiness and prosperity, because I only got an infinite amount of time on this earth, and I don't know how long that's going to be. 20 years at best, maybe. I don't know. So, not to be morbid and morbid people out, but you know, you just gotta take responsibility for your actions, whatever that is. Trust me, life is better when you start doing that. When you start thinking that you're in control of your universe, life is a lot better. Because even when you make mistakes, you can say, "Well, I can fix that." When you start blaming things on outside entities, the devil or whatever, then it's hard to take accountability for the things that you did wrong, because it's somebody else's fault. And then you never really course correct. So anyway, facts. Also, just want to give your flowers recommending Blue Nivea lotion. Real talk, the lotion is elite, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Good lotion. Yeah, I mean, listen, it doesn't have no scent to it. You know what I mean? And when you wash it, all Nivea isn't created equal. You want to look at the back. The back top will tell you if it's light or rich. I do the richest one. And it's not going to make you sweat, but it's just really, really, really good. But anyway, man, I think we talked enough. I think this is a great grown man conversation. Most of my subscribers are grown adults, are men. And outside of talking about clapping cheeks, getting panty droppers, and good fragrances, I think we can have some real grown man talk. I'm not trying to be some motivational speaker. I'm not trying to be whatever, but I also do understand that some people didn't have mentors growing up. Some people didn't have daddies. Some people didn't have positive role models. It is what it is. Those are your circumstances, but your circumstances don't have to be your future. You ain't have a father. Okay. Unpack that. Go see a therapist. Unpack that. You can't go back in time and change that. But what you can do is deal with the present. If you keep worrying about what you didn't have and what you didn't get, you're never going to get beyond that. You're going to be stuck. You got to move beyond that. Okay, I didn't have this. I identified a problem. What is my solution? Men do that. Men are solution based, which is why women, you know what I mean? Sometimes your girl come rant to you, you got to ask her, "Yo, do you want a solution? You want me to solution, or you just want to talk?" If you want to talk, I'm just going to shut up and listen. But if you want a solution, I'll tell you what you probably need to do, or give you my opinion on what you need to do. This is where we wrong. Because you'd be like, "Yo, men are solution." Every man that I've admired or whatever was solution based. Don't tell me about your goddamn problems. Not saying you can't, but like, bro, what are your solutions? You've identified a problem. You don't need to keep talking about it. What are your solutions? And your solutions are going to be the actions that you can take to improve that solution, that you can take. You can't control what other people do. My father taught me that. When I was young, I was always kind of tall. I was always tall when I was in elementary. I was tall. They already knew I was going to be over 6 feet. They knew I was going to be a tall kid. I was tall. I was big. And I learned that anytime I said something, I kept getting in trouble and suspended. Because I questioned everything. I never took nothing on face value. I questioned everything. And I would say, why? Why? Why am I doing that? Explain to me why. I'll do it if it makes sense. I was always that way as a kid, inquisitive. Why? Tell me why I can do it. If you don't tell me why, I'm not doing it. Tell me why. Because I said so. That ain't good enough for me. Tell me why. Make it make sense. And I used to say things a certain way, and it would be considered as aggression and everything else. My father said, "Listen, you're tall, dark skin. It's the 80s. You're living in a world of violence. Anything you say is going to be taken different than somebody who's not your stature, not your size, not your complexion. It's just going to be different. Now, you can go through the world blaming everybody for not accepting you for you, or you can figure out a way to navigate the world easier by recognizing that this is how it's viewed and then adapt, whatever that is. Or you can just fight the system that's never going to change. And then you're going to die under a system that's never going to change. And then you're going to die still. You'll be complaining one day and be dead tomorrow. And nothing changed. You'll die. Or you can just figure it out and live life prosperity. Just figure it out. You can only control yourself, nothing else. That's it. You can only control your own actions. I can't worry about what the next man going to do. I'm going to govern myself accordingly. If you threaten me, I'm going to govern myself accordingly. I'm going to protect myself to the extreme. You know what I'm saying? If I know pit bulls are down the street and they run loose, why am I going down that street? Some people be like, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to go down that street. I got my shit. I'm going to go down that street. I look at that and say, nah, I know they loose. I can still get home the same way going down the opposite street, and they got girls in fast food shops over there. Yeah, I'm going to go where the girls at. You can go down there and fight the pit bulls. I'm going over there where the girls at. In the fast food joints. I might take 5 more minutes to get home, but that just makes more sense to me. It's logical sense to me. Some people say, fuck that, I'm going down this street. All right, cool. Enjoy. But then if you go down that street and something bad happens, then what? Then what? Then you have to deal with the consequences because you made the decision to go down that street. Deal with it. But you're the man of your universe. You created that. You knew you was given options. You weighed out the pros and cons. You did that. Now deal with it. Be a man. Deal with it. Whatever that looked like. And on that note, we're going to go ahead and get up out of here because I don't want to keep harping. But hopefully, man, some young brothers, because I get messages all the time. My father gave me gems. He gave me jewels on how to navigate. I had good OGs. You know what I'm saying? Like solid OGs. OGs that made sure you weren't on bullshit time. I took gems from them. I took gems on observing their behaviors, their mannerisms, how they move. They were men of honor and integrity. Even if they were doing wrong, they were men of honor and integrity. So that meant something. Accountability, your words, your actions, even if you're wrong, own it. If you're right, own it. And when you do that, you can course correct. All right. So with that being said, it's a great chat. Nothing but love. Hopefully I ain't talk y'all up too much. And on that note, I'm going to leave you the way I greeted you, and that's the universal language of peace. Drink responsibly. It's late. Get you some rest and let it be what it's going to be. Peace.